oxygen inside the Titan ran out because of catastrophic loss of pressure, killed all onboard Titan submarine. In this video, we want to focus on the question of why this story has interested us so much. We are talking about a tiny submarine called Titan, which disappeared without explanations in the ocean depths while heading towards the Titanic. The Titanic is the most famous naval wreck in history, known by everyone, at least in the West, to the extent that it has inspired works of all kinds, including one of the most awarded films ever. The uniqueness of an event generates interest in itself, especially if it is connected to something incredibly well-known. The disappearance of the submarine was a dramatic episode, a tragedy because human lives were at stake, and whether we like it or not, tragedies attract collective interest much more than good news. This is why in news broadcasts or in general on all media, the majority of news is related to dramas or crime stories. It is the same reason why many of us slow down to see what happened when passing by a car accident on the highway. As if that wasn't enough, none of us knew or knows what actually happened, and this has sparked a strong curiosity about the unknown. The disappearance of the Titan brought with it an incredible sense of urgency and tension. It was not just a tragic event that happened and ended immediately. It triggered a countdown with a series of conditions. In fact, there were technical possibilities to intervene and avoid the tragedy, but time was of the essence. How many of you have identified with being inside the submarine, the specific conditions of the vessel, the precise descriptions of the cramped space in the darkness and cold at that immense depth, the absolute solitude of the submarine compared to the vastness of the ocean? The thought of panic, fear, the progressive lack of oxygen, and perhaps the assignment of blame are all things that I believe each one of us has imagined, and at least for me, they literally send shivers down my spine. To think rationally about what happened is essentially a nightmare. It's terrifying. And this has generated a strong empathy towards the situation itself and its possible resolution for many of us. The people involved, who unfortunately became the protagonists of the drama, were not nameless. The personification of an event, having faces to associate with a narrative, makes it much more alive, tangible, and also more dramatic. The episode presented various conflicting elements. It's useless to hide it, some of which led a certain portion of people, as we have seen in some comments, to say things like, "They brought it upon themselves," or, "Serves them right." These statements, of course, are ones that most people strongly distance themselves from, but they were made primarily because of the type of activity we are talking about. Diving in a submarine to the ocean depths is an inherently risky activity, even if all safety systems and procedures were put in place. The potential risks that the people on board assumed, on the other hand, were due to serious security flaws in the Titan that were known but were swept under the rug by the company. This factor inevitably reduces empathy towards the company and its CEO, who was also the pilot. Finally, the cost of the experience was revealed to be around $250,000 per person, thus revealing the socioeconomic background of the 5 victims. All of this has generated further detachment between the victims and a portion of the observers. But not only that, in fact, wealth is seen by some with envy and resentment, so this information has generated a certain sense of social revenge. The listed elements have generated strong collective emotions related to the event. On the one hand, positive and empathetic emotions, thus creating anxiety and hope that the Titan would be found in time. On the other hand, debates and controversies have arisen regarding the most critical aspects of the incident. It has unleashed a whirlwind of words, comments, emotions that have further intensified the spotlight on the event. In short, the tragic episode of the Titan has turned into a challenge, or rather the ultimate challenge. If you think about it, the stakes were to save the lives of real, tangible people like us, and the enemies to be defeated were none other than the passage of time and death itself. We found ourselves as more or less unconscious spectators of the quintessential drama of being human. A drama that we followed step by step and on a global scale. In conclusion, let us express our regret for what happened and also let us say that the focus placed on this event should be taken for what it is, given the unique characteristics that have distinguished it. Tragedies like this, in fact, follow completely different dynamics that are in many ways much more dramatic, and in our opinion, they deserve a different narrative and analysis, on which we have been working for some time and which we intend to bring to you here on the channel in the coming weeks.